Welcome to my channel, Compass Starlight. It's interesting energy. This eclipse energy. Kitten playing around in the background. Well, where to begin? My intuition has been in high gear. So much so that I cannot seem to get ahead of or even stay on top of all of the information that comes in all at once. In such a rush. Try to write things down, make notes, make audio recordings, make videos. A couple videos I didn't even post because it just seems like this energy is moving so quickly. I guess I'll begin with this card that I pulled for myself earlier. It is it here? I can never remember which side has the camera. Rhetoric. Number 23. Discussion, sincere dialogue, which leads to shared truth. I was out today doing a little bit of research and I stopped at a few stores. I actually stepped into one and was choking. I had a coughing fit. And perhaps it was the dust in the building. I don't know what. But it altered my voice for the rest of the day. I went to another store, and when I entered the room, the shopkeeper was on the phone, and she retreated behind the curtain to the staff-only area. And nonetheless, I could hear her side of the dialogue she was having with the person with whom she was on the phone. And really, I stepped into the store to ask just a few questions about how the store operates, but I felt really badly about interrupting her because she was going through some real life stuff. She was upset. So I looked around the shop, tried to answer the questions I had for myself, and once I had moved my way through the store, I went back to the counter and she finally came out from behind the curtain, and I told her I had a few questions I wanted to ask her. 1, how did this work? 2, how does that work? 3, whatever the question was. And 4, do you need a hug? And she did. She did need a hug. I gave her a hug, and we talked for about a half an hour, maybe a little longer, about what was going on with her and her life, and life in general, the struggles that we face, and trying to redirect your attention to more positive things, which is very important to do right now. It's important to do all the time. But if you are finding yourself in navigating stormy waters, navigating through heavy emotions, navigating difficult situations and relationships, try to redirect your attention to the positive and your own inner strength. Center yourself. So it turns out, after speaking with her for quite a while, as I suspected, she knew my biological mother. And it turns out my biological mother, who currently lives in another state, had been in the store an hour prior. That was interesting. I've done a lot of work in the past few months to heal myself, to forgive. And how do you forgive things that you don't really understand? Things that you can't rationalize. It is a challenge. I have feelings about the relationships parents have with their children. Whether you raise your child or not, I feel, it is my opinion, that a parent should always honor their child. They made that child, and regardless of where the child was raised, and regardless of whom it was that took the responsibility of nurturing that child, you honor the children. You honor the individuals whom they have grown to be, whom they've grown to become. So it was interesting because in the process of forgiving my biological mother, I felt like she did not, the last time I saw her, she had not healed her own wounds, generational trauma. She hadn't healed herself, and she couldn't meet me in honor. She could not meet me with the love that I deserved because she did not have that love for herself. And as a result, I do not feel a need to welcome her into my life, at least not until she does some work on herself. This person I encountered offered to arrange for us to meet. I'm really trying to clear my life of people and things that hold me back. I say, as you look at a screen with all of these things, I have a lot of possessions, and they own me. Yep, there's truth in that. I really have been going through everything and picking through and donating. In fact, when I went into these stores today, I was looking for a store that would take some particular items either to buy from me or to take on consignment. But it does raise the question, well, I might get back to that. I will get back to that. I'll make a point to get back to that. I also wanted to say about this meeting I had, this encounter with this shopkeeper today. I have faith. I hold faith in my heart. The God, the source, to which I pray, is within me, and it is everything outside of me. I was raised in a Christian faith, and even from the principle, I'm thinking of something in Spanish. I'll just say, from the beginning, my introduction to Christianity, Christian faith, I have always felt that God's temple is everywhere, that you do not need to go to a church in order to pray. My altar is wherever I make it, and God is with me there. Regardless of whether it is a church or temple. God is there. Source is there. With love, open heart, sacred heart. And there is no end to the expansiveness of that love. And I will continue to refuse the notion that it can only be found within 4 walls or within 11 walls. I'm just thinking that some churches are shaped like a cross, right? "12? I knew that didn't make sense. 12 walls? Regardless of your religion, your denomination, faith is pure. Love is pure. And this woman that I encountered today was Christian. She asked me if I was Christian. My biological mother is Christian. And she wanted to pray with me. She wanted to pray for me. And I told her I would pray for her. And she spoke. She prayed. It was a nice prayer. I prayed for her silently inside until in her prayer she brought into negativity. she brought negativity, a reflection. And then I opened my mouth and spoke aloud to redirect her prayer towards hope and faith. It was a special moment to share a prayer with a stranger. It was interesting. I meant it when I prayed for her. I believe she meant it when she prayed for me. We all have our struggles. So, the woman I encountered today was struggling with oppression in her family. If you're struggling in your friendships, in your relationships, in your family, in your community, in your work environment, in your school environment, whatever it may be, and you find yourself ensconced in pain or grief, remember that no one else can make you happy. Only you can embrace your happiness. No one else can make you sad. No one else can make you sad. You can allow the mistreatment of others to be the focus of your attention, and that makes you sad. But you can also redirect your focus to the light, to the bright, to that which makes you happy. We have coyotes howling right outside. Right outside, buddy. Do you hear them? It's just one. Yeah, he didn't like that. I was outside for a bit last night and they were quite active. I don't know if the microphone will pick that up. Nope. Then no, he's still going. You might be able to hear that. The howl of the coyote. That's why I don't let my cats out. that little guy would be a snack. Well, okay. What else? Oh, yeah. Hypocrisy. I think this is an important time to consider hypocrisy. Right? You get what you deserve. The notion, for example, while I was pointing a finger at you, I was guilty too. If I hadn't done that, if I had been clearer, I still would have gotten what I deserve. It just would have been different. Does that make sense? I don't know how that might apply to someone. I'll say it again. And it's just an example. While I was pointing a finger at you, I was guilty too. If I hadn't done that, if I had been clearer, I still would have gotten what I deserve. It just would have been different. It's instant karma. You get what you deserve. I think that there are quite a few people that are meeting their karmic justice, good or bad. And we are getting closer to the eclipse. If that makes a difference, I don't know that it does. However, my point is that truth receiving karma, especially if it's bad, may be a heavy energy for a lot of people over the next few days. Heavy energy to accept that negative karmic justice. And equally so, those who are receiving the karmic rewards they deserve it equally. However, they may be the subject, the point, the focus of envy and unwanted attention from others who are receiving their karmic dues. It may be wise to consider the people with whom you socialize and interact over the next few days. If you are unsure of what kind of karma is due to you And more so if you find yourself receiving karmic justice, karmic reward. Be very cautious around those who may not be blessed with the same fortune. But also, have faith in your choices and your decisions. No regrets. Yeah, sometimes I make a funny face when I'm channeling. I know. So, that also comes around to persecution. If you are an individual who in the near future finds themselves receiving karmic reward, you may feel persecuted by envious people. You may be stabbed in the back. People may talk about you behind your back. You will need to have your inner strength and your faith to persist, to continue to follow your path. Freedom from persecution, because you get what you deserve, and if you got good, you deserved it. What's your karmic balance? If others attack you, if others come at you because you did a good job and you're receiving the benefits and you're reaping the rewards, do not feel guilty, because you are worthy. Do not second guess yourself. Find your faith and your strength to embrace and receive that which you deserve. Freedom from possession. Freedom from the narcissist. No more toxic captivity. No more captive toxic. When you find your strength, it's like a superpower that unlocks the cage. If you have to, ask yourself, I'm not sure I would say it out loud, right? Do you love me, or are you just manipulating me? I think that is a piercing point. You don't love me. You're just manipulating me. A piercing point. It is. It's like a sticking point. It hurts. It hurts someone to question that, and it hurts someone to hear that. I would not advise asking out loud. But I would advise examining your psyche, looking at your past and your trauma to see truth, to see if you are looking at past repeat patterns, or if what you are seeing from an individual in their behavior is truly making you ask that question in the first place. Are you being manipulated? Because if you are being manipulated, why? Why are you being manipulated? Are you allowing yourself to be manipulated? And again, if you feel that you are, you have to, put your foot down and stand up for yourself. And act on your own behalf. Freedom from the narcissist, freedom from persecution, and freedom from possession. If you feel that an individual's behaviors demonstrate facets of possession, really consider whether or not you want to be possessed, and if you are okay with that. Freedom from possession is also refers to the things. And this is the point to which earlier in my video I said I would return. Freedom from possession is not only a subject to contemplate in regards to people, but also as well a subject to contemplate when it comes to material things. I have not touched this table much, but I have cleared out several bookshelves, thinned out the wardrobe, I'm working on it. There are a lot of things, and I live in a home that contains a lot of things belonging to the homeowner and the homeowner's family. Sometimes it's hard to see. I wanted to say it's hard to see the forest for the trees, but to be honest, it's more like it's hard to see the trees for the forest. In other words, This home is filled with so many material things and possessions that at times it's difficult to focus in on items that I would call mine, so that I can decide whether or not I want to keep them or if they're possessing me. The challenge with that is that when someone leaves, someone else is going to have to sort through this house. So if I leave and I don't finish thinning out my possessions, I could leave them for someone else. Whether they would appreciate them or it would just be a mess for others to burden themselves with. And I don't really want to do that. Why would I put my burden on someone else? It's the thoughts there, though. There's some things that I really like and that I think the family of the homeowner would also like. Furniture that fills the room, for example. They would put it to use or find a new home for it. I'm not particularly worried about that. But I am doing my part to process, to read, to decide that I do or do not want certain possessions. And those things sometimes I hold in my hand. I do think I said this in one of my other videos that perhaps did not make it to the upload stage. Sometimes I hold something in my hand and I ask, why do I want to keep this? Why am I attached to this? Maybe it's something I received at a certain time, or it was given to me by a certain person. Books, yeah. If I haven't read it, I'm not sure when I'll read it, if ever. Gone. So, a question to ask yourself would be, what do you need to clear? What or whom are you allowing to possess you? What or whom are you allowing to hold you back? From freedom, from truly experiencing life in joy. Those, I do believe, are my topics for tonight. And that's fine. Look at 40 minutes. I don't know how I do that. I cannot. Alright, maybe it's not 40 minutes yet, but I take a long time to process things. Yep. Anyhow, keep your strength. Focus your attention on hope and faith. Redirect your attention with positivity. Be well. Thank you for coming to my channel.